Why, hello everyone! Good day! Welcome to PlayFrame, welcome to Horizon Zero Dawn, and welcome back to Sunfall, right? That's what this place... Sunfall? Sunfall! Welcome back to Sunfall, everyone. So, we're back here because this is where the... I feel safer over here. We're gonna go back over there and do the main story quest, because it's time. It's time to do it. Even though he's kind of scaring me off with the whole, like, make sure you've settled all your other business talk. It's a tricky thing, right? Because, like, there are other side quests, and as the last episode demonstrated, some of these side quests are really chunky. Like, they've got big story significance. And, like, some of these have been really good. And there's still some more lying around, like this one, and others that are probably also very good. Maybe. But you know that feeling when you're playing an open world game and it starts feeling like you're just kind of checking stuff off of a list? Even if it is kind of good, that's what it's starting to feel like to me right now. Which isn't the game's problem, it's just kind of how I'm feeling, so that seems like a good time to start doing the story quest stuff instead. And maybe we'll come back to the side quest stuff later, if it feels right. But yeah, we've been waiting too darn long. I said we were going to do this on Monday, doggone it.
Expect to win a war.
Not going to make y'all wait a whole darn another week before we learn more.
Vlad wasn't so charitable where his father was concerned.
It's always tricky figuring out how to handle this stuff in open world games. But I'm ready. Whoa, okay. Oof. That could have gone bad. Thank you for grabbing on, Aloy. Okay. Let's do this.
Windburn.
Let's do this. Yeah.
I'm heading down.
I've spent a lifetime trying to uncover the secrets of this world. Where the machines came from. How the old ones achieved such marvels only to fall into silence and death. A lifetime of failure, as year by year, decade after decade, I hit walls I could not break, doors I could never breach.
Hello.
Until a Nora huntress marched out of the savage east. And voila, for her, all the deepest secrets of the earth were laid bare. I suspect you will have an easier time with this door than I did years ago.
Hold for identiscan. Genetic profile confirmed. Entry authorized. Malfunction. 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 Malfunction.
Are you kidding me?
You don't hear me laughing.
Shut up. There's gotta be another way. Hey! Elizabeth Sobeck here! Requesting access!
Access request acknowledged. Root command functions available. Do you wish to proceed?
I do! Get me through this door!
Analyzing. Primary access inoperable due to mechanical failure. Emergency venting procedure likely to circumvent blockage. Do you wish to proceed?
Yes.
I might want to stand back.
Emergency venting authorized.
Yeah.
I underestimated you. So by now,
Guess you can't have everything.
that will draw attention. We won't have this place to ourselves for long now.
We? Last I checked, I was the one risking my life down here.
Yes, fine. Now will you please get moving? There's so much to learn in less time than I'd hoped.
Well, let's get detectiving. Okay.
Welcome to Project Zero Dawn.
Yes.
Zero Dawn. We found it.
Are you really so surprised?
Facility diagnostics detect multiple failures. Attempting repair.
So, what was this room?
An entrance hall, perhaps. Have a look around.
Don't mind if I do. Hello. Another incident. From lounge staff to admin. This morning's unfortunate incident with Dr. Popovich is another example of reception's need for additional support. We appreciate that Zero Dawn is an immensely complicated project, but as the staff who serve on the front line, We're tired of being neglected. As we've already requested, we need human translators fluent in Polish, for example, security staff who can subdue enraged embryologists, for example, and durable sedatives to calm persons who are screaming in Polish while hurling chairs and vases at reception staff, for example. Yes, most of the candidates are reasonably calm and well-behaved, but we need help handling the exceptions to that rule. Please respond. Interesting. More clues. More clues. Feed me clues. I know I saw another one around here somewhere. Where is it? Ha! Yes! We need support. We need support too. Here we go. From reception staff to admin. Reception staff continues to require additional support managing ZD candidates when they arrive at the facility. Many are frightened or confused, some are highly agitated. These are not the sort of persons who are accustomed to having information withheld from them. At minimum, we need human translators. The Lang bots are not sufficient, and mild sedatives for the extreme cases. Any and all support would be welcome. Perhaps you could start by responding to one of these emails? Interesting. So close, and I still feel like I actually have no idea what Zero Dawn is. But we are going to find out together. I mean, hopefully.
Please take a seat and wait for your name to be called. A selection of beverages and snacks are available.
Ooh.
A smaller room.
And snacks. Anything? Yes, some things. Some things! Nope. What's this now? Alright. But this... Restock or else. From lounge staff to admin. For the 5th time, please restock the lounge selection of herbal teas. If I have to listen to one more egghead throw a tantrum because we're out of the organic cucumber mint or blackberry sage varietals, I'm going to lose it. Please respond, and this time, no tempest in a teapot or steep demand jokes, okay? Huh. People seemed real stressed and understaffed in here, I guess. Why the stress? I see you. Soundproofing? From lounge staff to admin. Would it be possible to improve the soundproofing between VR1 and the lounge area? Most of the candidates stay quiet during the presentation, but the ones who scream or sob can be plainly heard by candidates waiting their turn in the lounge. Just a thought. Huh.
Please proceed into viewing room 1 for an important message regarding the purpose of your visit.
Yes, indeed. I'd very much like to know what they were seeing in viewing room 1 now. So let's, get a look. Do I have my bow? I don't. I feel better with my bow. And more restocked and armed. Not that I expect to run into anything right this second on viewing screens or anything, but like, you know. Feels nicer and safer. Yeah. That's more like it. Okay.
What?
Roll film.
What was this place?
A holographic theater.
CD01 data intact. Initiating playback.
This should be good.
Welcome to Project Zero Dawn. I am General Harris, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States of America. I'm sure you've heard the rumors that Zero Dawn is a top-secret superweapons program, the technological miracle that will save us from the Pharaoh Plague, if Operation Enduring Victory can hold off the robots long enough. The reason I'm sure you've heard the rumors is that I'm the one who spread them, and they are all lies. Zero Dawn is not a superweapons program, and it will not save us. Nothing will save us. And here's why. By the time the glitch was noticed, it was already too late. Nothing could stop the Pharaoh Plague. Nothing can. Its robots will continue to replicate and devour the biosphere. Life on Earth will be destroyed. Our planet reduced to a barren sphere. Global extinction is inevitable. No matter how many we kill, the robots just keep exponentially making more. If we had their deactivation codes, we could shut them all down. The entire swarm. But since their cryptographic protocols use polyphasic entangled waveforms, cracking a code set would take half a century. At best, we've got 16 months. Not exactly what you'd call a survival option. The destruction of a biosphere is not the sort of apocalypse you can wait out in a fallout shelter or a space station. There will be no Earth left to reclaim. Just a lifeless, toxic rock with several million Pharaoh robots on it, hibernating, waiting for something to eat. This is the horrible truth behind the lies of Operation Enduring Victory. My lies. Lies designed to inspire millions of innocents to sacrifice themselves in battle. Why? One reason. To buy time for you and the work you will do here. Zero Day, the day that life on Earth ceases to exist, is coming fast. It cannot be stopped. The hope of Zero Dawn is that something new might come after. But I will leave it to Elizabeth Sobek to shine that thin ray of light into the darkness. Harris, out.
That doesn't make sense. Life on Earth didn't cease to exist.
He said it could not be stopped.
But it was. Somehow Elizabeth saved us. I've got to keep looking. Find out how she did it.
Yeah, if that was the bad news, maybe they should have had the good news come like right after instead of moving everyone into the next room. Okay.
Kestrels. They got in. Through the vents.
Oh, come on.
Let nothing stop you from learning the truth.
Spread out!
Oh, nothing will, don't worry.
If it moves, kill it!
What is this place? Tomb?
It will be. Ah, there's so much stuff I want to read and look at. Come on in.
Oh, no.
Thanks for the big gun. That's not what I meant to do. What I wanted, you see, was the... Ah! This isn't going how I wanted. Yeah. Go down, dork. Where are you at? Alright, good enough.
We're too close to let tribal primitive stop us now. The data points, what did they contain?
Where'd the gun go? Did it just fall into the wall? That's obnoxious. Okay. I'm doing some reading around here. Or listening. Whatever.
With Suzanne Alpert, environmental scientist. Doctor?
I'm sorry, I wasn't,
Just stating your name. What were you thinking about, Doctor?
Nothing the General said, not really. I was on the Syzygy East Response Team in 2051, just after the second earthquake compromised the reactor. I still dream about it, after all these years. The red zone spreading on the imaging, slowly, so slowly, like a hand opening its fingers.
Your involvement in that event is why you were asked for by name.
Really? That's interesting. Because nothing worked. Nothing could grow there again. It was a catastrophic failure. But the red zone is a blip compared to global-scale biomass reduction. The biosphere and hydrosphere will collapse, render the Earth uninhabitable long before the robots finish us. Enduring Victory can't buy time against that. So, you'd better show me what Zero Dawn really is.
That'd be great. Someone should do that. For me. Now. Okay, counselor guidelines. 1. For debriefing after presentation 1. Candidates must be allowed to ask questions and be given the necessary time to fully absorb the information they've received. It's important to be aware that candidates have just been exposed to triggers for severe mental and emotional trauma. Do not assume silence or outward calmness indicates acceptance. It's essential to stress that all other options for combating the Pharaoh Plague and preserving the continuation of human life have been considered and found unworkable. Communicate this fact calmly but clearly and firmly. Familiarize yourself with data on the catastrophic environmental impact of nuclear engagements versus the swarm, Addendum B1, and the unfeasibility of maintaining life in orbital, lunar, or undersea structures, Addenda C1, C2, and C3, so that you can counter candidates' objections in depth. If a candidate asks for time alone to review supplementary information, allow this without hesitation. And be sure to inform security personnel so the candidate can be monitored for attempts at self-harm. Candidates should only be cleared to proceed to presentation 2 if you believe their mental state is sufficiently stable. Note that real-time support will be available via your focus. Security and medical crisis teams are blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's why I split into 2 parts. Interesting. All right. In many situations, I'd kind of want to follow up right away with, but here's the good-ish news. But, I guess this is pretty big bad news, as bad news goes.
I'm sure you now understand the urgency of why we brought you here, Ms. Okilo.
Captain Okilo, are you trying to thank me for not resisting?
I believe we could negotiate a diplomatic solution.
When it came to my country's lithium, it was always a swarm that would be sent to negotiate. Metallurgic International, U.S. Robot Command. The markings changed, but the robots were the same.
You have had considerable experience in human-robot conflict.
Yes, and I've got the prosthetic limbs to show it. Yet I continue to face this horror, even though the challenge was great. Cyber warfare. I thought Zero Dawn would be a Manhattan project to generate the deactivation codes. With the resources I had, I estimated code breaking to be a hopeless endeavor. I was almost looking forward to being proved wrong.
Unfortunately, your estimation was correct.
As your General Harris said. So then, you did not bring me here to commiserate. What is left?
What indeed? Sorry, I'm just kind of exploring the tunnels while listening to audiobooks. Kind of downers, all of them. Okay. Need more data.
Look, let's cut the mystery. You're building a colony ship. It's obvious. And it's not gonna fly. I mean, literally. Remember the Odyssey? That multinational heap of space junk that's been in graveyard orbit since 57? That went nowhere real slow. And you have to get somewhere real fast. Do you have any idea the immensity of the challenge to prep a new colony ship in time?
To be clear, I'm not a worker on the project.
Do you even understand how few people it could save? The whole generation ship concept is not gonna happen. It's the first thing you'd abandon in favor of embryonics. For that kind of storage, we're talking a lot of bulk, a lot of power, a lot of resources. So even if you do it, even if you build it and point it at Sirius X, there's no room for people on that thing, all right?
If you could try to remain calm.
You people are crazy if you think you're getting off this rock. No one's getting off.
Medical.
Let's see here. Is this just a place to be sneaky during fights, or is there... Oh, there's some stuff up here. All right. Now...
There is some mistake. I don't understand why I was brought here. Why would you show me these things? I know that there's already a lot to take in. In the waiting area, I was seated with a Nobel laureate in biophysics and a monk, I think. He spoke neither English nor Mandarin. It is very strange. And General Harris? What was he talking about? The robot swarm, the Pharaoh Plague? I understand it is terrible. But it really cannot be stopped? Why tell us this? There are people in Shanghai, my friends, my family. They have joined Operation Enduring Victory already. It is for nothing? We will all die?
We're going to be able to answer some of these questions.
I just want to know why I am here. It doesn't make sense to me.
You were brought here because of your skill set.
No, that can't be right. I am an art historian. I know Dutch masters, Japanese calligraphy, Gerhard Richter. What does that matter now?
So many materials.
That is accurate, yes.
So these mechanical monstrosities, they don't just kill people. They feed off them?
Not just people. All organic matter.
Every living thing dissolved into nutrients. Millennia of evolution liquefied. The miracle of life reduced to bloody biofuel.
In a word, yes.
Who did this? Pharaoh? That asshole. Is he here?
No, Doctor.
Please, tell him Tom Pike wants a word. Now, get off! Get off! Doctor, please! You get Ted Pharaoh in here!
Want to discuss?
Whew. So Mama, she was right.
Pardon?
My mother, she took her Bible real serious. Not just Texas Bible serious, Pentecostal serious. Favorite chapter? Revelations. Now, I didn't always understand her on account of all that speaking in tongues and such, but when she did use her words, it was always end times this and lake of fire that on account of sinful lifestyles. Speaking of which, mind if I smoke?
A tobacco cigarette.
Sorry, darling. My taste run classic. Compliments to your team tracked me down. Been a price on my head 18 months now. Sterling Malkeet was me, don't mind admitting. Been plenty of snakesters chasing the bounty, too. But I kept the zigging to their zag. How'd you finger me?
I believe Dr. Sobek listed you as an alpha candidate. Priority snatch and grab.
Always suspected she had a little thing for me. Hey, I don't suppose you got real coffee in this place. You know, blood coffee? Conflict cappuccinos?
Mr. Tate, I'm clearing you to proceed. Just go. You previously worked for Pharaoh Automated Systems.
On the Chariot Line self-replication routines. I came here thinking this was a rendition. When your people took me, I thought, about time. I've been trying to swallow the guilt every day since...
Would you like to take a moment?
No, I really hoped Zero Dawn was a way to undo it all. My work. And I'm sorry to say I was ever proud of it, but Ted could really sell a concept, and in the labs, in the light of creation, that first test run, when you saw they understood their own structures, could rebuild themselves from memory and light, there were no limits. God, there were no limits.
All right, think we've seen everything in here. I think. I hope. I think we found it all. And that gun's just gonna be stuck in the door forever. Tragic. Just one more tragedy to add to the pile, I guess.
CD02 data intact. Initiating playback.
Oh, what now? Here?
Elizabeth Sobek.
You've heard the bad news, and it's all true. The Pharaoh Plague is devouring the biosphere. Life itself will cease to exist. But does that have to be the end? What if we could give life a future? What if we could build a kind of seed from which, on a dead planet, life could blossom anew? This is the aim, the hope, of Project Zero Dawn. to create a super intelligent, fully automated terraforming system and bring life back from lifelessness. What would such a system require? At its core, it would need a true AI, fully capable of making the trillions of decisions necessary to reconstitute the biosphere. An immortal guardian, devoted to the reflourishing of life. We call it Gaia. Mother Nature as an AI. But that's just the core of the system. She will need to be surrounded and empowered by a comprehensive suite of subordinate functions. Think of them as extensions of Gaia's mind, each dedicated to a specific purpose. Now, these aren't AIs, but make no mistake, each presents an engineering challenge more profound than anything the human species has ever before attempted. Hardware that preserves and then gestates the billions of seeds and embryos from which life will be reborn. The construction of underground facilities to hold it all. And that's just the start. We don't have to build the entire system. The beauty of a fully automated terraforming system is that it can build itself. Now, over the days to come, you'll learn how all these functions, all these pieces that you'll be working on, fit together. How we'll race the clock to execute our harvest initiatives, write the software, build the tech and the facilities. How we'll lock it down and seal it up before the inevitable occurs. But even more important, you'll know how it doesn't end here. How Gaia will generate those deactivation codes General Harris talked about, and build the transmission arrays to broadcast them, shutting down the Pharaoh robots for good. How Gaia will not just build, but imagine any conceivable robot it needs to do its work across centuries. From detoxifying the Earth's ravaged atmosphere and poisoned seas, to the regreening of the Earth from cryopreserved seed stalks, to rewilding the Earth with animal life. And then, when all that is done, how a new generation of human beings, spawned at cradle facilities around the globe, will partake of Apollo, the vast archive of human knowledge and cultural achievement from which they will learn of us, our world. And most important, how not to repeat our mistakes. It's not an impossible dream. It is within our grasp if we work tirelessly and stop at nothing to achieve it. We can't stop life from ending. But if you will help me, help Gaia, we can give it a future. Join me and help make that future real.
The whole Earth destroyed, but then remade?
Yes. By a machine. A machine of creation.
Elizabeth did this. For life, for us. But why Hades then? If it was part of Gaia, how did it end up in the wreckage of a Pharaoh robot? And why does it want to kill me? And Apollo, the archive of knowledge, what happened to that?
I'm as confused as you are. Maybe the answers lie ahead.
Boy, I hope so. So, okay. So a lot of the robots we've been fighting were not, in fact, the original Pharaoh creation ones. These are actually like Gaia's creations that have been actually redeveloping the planet somewhat. That is also kind of dangerous, especially because they've been getting more hostile lately. Okay, because they weren't always super hostile, but they've become increasingly so because of this corruption stuff, which is, I guess, some of the sort of like code influence of the original Pharaoh plague type things. The corruptors, especially the ones that the other humans have been unearthing, I think are part of the original Pharaoh thing. Hang on, whoa. You all right there, game? Hang on. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Weird. But anyway, so, like, I'm still kind of, like, unraveling this in my head. The machines weren't always super violent. We've, like, read little accounts of that, but we knew they were increasingly over the more recent generations getting more violent and more hazardous and dangerous. Okay, good. This time it didn't crash. And a lot of the machines were definitely originally created by Gaia and not as killer robots. I'm guessing actually that the only ones that are killer robots originally are the Corruptor, which doesn't actually, now that I actually look at it, doesn't look like a lot of these other ones. And I guess still don't know what that one is. And the Deathbringer. Because the rest of these look a little bit more normal, right? And that would also explain why there's cauldrons with like overrides and stuff that have been creating these robots, and from which I can get codes to like override them. So the ones that are not overrideable are the ones that are not Gaia's robots, would be my guess. Because it seemed like kind of weird to me that the Corruptor couldn't be overridden. And I just kind of always hadn't given it a second thought until now, but actually that explains sort of why, huh? And the fact that more and more of those Corruptors have been getting dug up and used to corrupt other robots, maybe that's also contributing to the reason why they're starting to get just more aggressive in general. Ah, boy, lots of dots are connecting in neat ways. What a really cool story they're telling here. All right, let's see what more answers we can get in the next room. Please don't crash. Fantastic. Okay. All right. More clues, more facts. This is great. Finally, answers. Make your selection. You are now in possession of information regarding the true nature and purpose of Project Zero Dawn, classified far above top secret. As such, we regret that you cannot be allowed to leave this facility. There are 3 options available to you at this point. Please consider each carefully. Trained counselors are standing by to assist you in making your choice. 1. Participation. You will be assigned to a sub-project team based on your area of expertise. You should be aware that the way forward will be difficult, and the project's outcome is uncertain. You will be expected to work a minimum of 80 hours per week, and your communication with family members will be strictly limited and monitored in real time. Upon successful completion of the project, you and your immediate family, or 2 persons of your choosing, will be transferred to the Elysium sealed habitat to live out the remainder of your natural lives. 2. Indefinite detention. Should you choose to decline participation in Project Zero Dawn, you will be confined indefinitely. You'll be given 48 hours to reconsider, after which your decision to refuse participation will be considered irrevocable. Every reasonable effort will be made to make your term of confinement as comfortable as possible, but you will not be permitted contact with the outside world, and death within 18 months due to the Pharaoh Plague is inevitable. When the Zero Dawn facility is abandoned, detainees who wish not to opt for medical euthanasia will be released. 3. Medical euthanasia. The information you have just received, understandably, calls into question the purpose of continuing to live. If you'd prefer to end your life at this point, pain-free medical euthanasia is available. A 48-hour waiting period is required, during which time you may instead opt for participation or confinement. Please notify a counselor when you're ready to make your choice, or if you have further questions. All right. What more info could be waiting?
Of course I'll do it. To be given the opportunity to rebuild what the damage that I don't feel worthy of it, but I will do it, absolutely.
I want to stress that this was never about your culpability.
It is to me. Dr. Sobek, Margot, they were smart to get out of Pharaoh when they did, but not one of us took it as a warning sign. It just told ourselves that we're cut out for the BTRI cabals. That's the better than rapid innovation. A better at competing, better than the next guy, a better killing machine. Isn't it just amazing how a century and a half of science fiction did nothing to swerve our species from the path of doom? I mean, I'm done with that life. I mean, I will work hard, twice as hard to earn this, for my family to have a place in Elysium. I never thought that there could be atonement.
I don't 100% trust that Elysium exists. Or that it certainly isn't what they think it is, but even so, at that point, I guess it doesn't matter a whole lot, does it? Counselor Guidelines 2. For debriefing after presentation 2, it is vitally important that candidates choose to participate in Project Zero Dawn voluntarily and knowingly, without additional coercion and without value judgment on the part of the counselor. Confirm for candidates that they were selected due to their skill sets and accomplishments. Emphasize that their dedicated participation in Zero Dawn will increase the project's chances of success. Frame participation in Zero Dawn as an opportunity to respond actively in the face of an overwhelming threat. Candidates may question the fairness of their selection. Validate such objections as normal, even admirable responses. Emphasize the value of candidates' expertise to the future, not just of humanity, but terrestrial life as a whole. Likewise, candidates may balk at the morality of extending their lifespans and those of loved ones beyond Zero Day. Validate their hesitation. Acknowledge that while the reward of Elysium is not fair, it will be earned. If possible, redirect their ethical misgivings toward greater commitment to the project. When candidates challenge the plausibility of Project Zero Dawn, permit them to review Dr. Sobek's presentation as many times as they wish, and allow access to supplemental articles G01 through P20. Allow them to suspend the interview to fully process this documentation. A significant minority of candidates will elect for medical euthanasia. It is important to receive this decision kindly and without judgment. Advise them of the 48-hour waiting period, during which counselors will be available to discuss the decision. Emphasize that euthanasia will not occur without repeated consent when the procedure is scheduled to take place. No one will be euthanized against his or her will. Candidates who elect indefinite detention must be informed that they have 48 hours to reverse the decision, after which the decision data corrupted and such. Okay. All right. Saw some other ones over here. I thought. It's great having more information finally.
If you're still nauseous. No, the inhibitors have kicked in. I can't feel the back of my tongue. I wish I could tell you I'd believe in this, but the damage is too great, too extensive, too complete. With all respect to Dr. Sobek's work at Miriam, no. No, life doesn't always find a way to keep going. Sometimes it never comes back. Like Syzygy East. Like the Congo. Like Timo. Like us. That's our reward? A buried city full of terminal patients waiting out the clock?
You grow old together, with your loved ones, in safety.
I don't have loved ones. I suppose I could start a family?
I'm afraid not. All inhabitants of Elysium will be medically sterilized. A habitat capable of sustaining a starting base of 2,000 individuals for up to 100 years is a huge challenge, Dr. Alpert. If the population grows instead of diminishes, everyone will be dead inside 30 years.
I knew it. I just couldn't bring myself to say the words.
I'm sorry?
Finish it. Medical euthanasia. I want no part of this. I just want it over.
I see. Protocols require a 48-hour waiting period, after which...
Is he to make sure I behave this time?
Security. For your protection. Would you like to discuss how you're feeling?
Sure. I'll tell you. Surprised. No, flabbergasted. Like my old man would say, flabbergasted. That vein pumping in his forehead. I thought you people were just completely underprepared for a spaceflight project. But now I can see it's worse. Much worse. Sobek is a total fantasist, a dangerous fantasist. He's kind of blue skying. It's... Jesus. I'm sorry we wasted each other's time. I'm ready to leave now.
I'm afraid that's not possible.
Everything you're talking about here isn't possible.
I recommend you read the documents regarding your options.
I've seen enough. I'm getting out of here. What are you... You don't... Get your hands off me!
Alert. Medical wing inaccessible.
You say that. I'm going in here. I bet it has more reading and listening material. Now I'm trying to figure out what facility did Aloy fall into as a kid? Was that Elysium? Guess it must have been, right? Stranded shackles. I expected more things in here. Maybe the next room. Nothing, I guess. I mean, it's definitely something, I just can't tell what. Okay. Next door, I suppose. The picture is getting clearer. Ah, those are healing items. Who's gonna attack me? No one will stand in the way of me actually understanding what's going on.
Intruder! Get her!
No one!
Whatever you do, don't die now.
Oh, don't you worry. Alright. Let's see what we can do in here. Yeah. Come get me, punks. That was a better idea in my head. Okay, so they all have big guns. Wow. Aloy's cup runneth over. Alright. You. Sturdy fellas. Alright, got one. Let's try this. I haven't really tried stacking up these. I'm guessing this is gonna do some pretty fast work. Yep. Turns out, yep. Thank you. Now, let's go ahead and wrap this up. All right, beautiful. And now I have so many guns and no one to shoot them at.
Zero Dawn. It is art, in a way. An expression on the grandest scale. But there is so much unfairness. Why was I chosen? Was it decided by committee? By algorithm? My family will be saved because I happen to graduate in art history? Is this right?
Dr. Sauvé? Christina Sauvé?
Yes. I met a man, another historian. His fields are Bauhaus and the New Materialists. But he once attended one of my talks. Another unfair chance. Of all the many people in that auditorium, that we should both be here now. And yet, I feel more accepting of my fate. No, it is not fair, not at all. But for the sake of my family, for the sake of art. Art is alive. It must be able to speak from beyond history and echo in the future, not perish into oblivion. This opportunity, I must do this.
Now, those lame FBI black hats at Mockingbird back in the day, I enjoyed schooling them. But maybe I went in too hard on this poor counselor. She was cute, and just going down a checklist after all. Couldn't expect her to see how ridiculous Zero D's ambitions are. God's own budget thrown at a kid playing with a hologram sculptor? Palms up, honey. I'm just calling it like it is. Hey, look, Mom, I'm making nature. Now, if nature is so important, why not let nature take its course? Extinction? That's natural. Zero dawn? No, ma'am, that ain't. Heck, it's so unnatural to be called an abomination back home, and you know
I've done this before.
That's
just need my focus.
Yeah, can you guys not interrupt the listening material? Darn it. Maybe there's a text version. Select. Okay, yeah, I can read it. Awesome. Zero dawn, no ma'am, that ain't. Heck, it's so unnatural to be called an abomination back home. And you know what? That's why you're hiding it. Meanwhile, my little honey of a counselor, she's munching the inside of her cheek. Bad habit. She's chewed one of her nails, too. Just one. Not your day, was it, little sweet pea? Saw her quota slipping away. Said, I assume you intend to decline the assignment, Mr. Tate. Are you kidding me? 18 months hard labor in exchange for 30 years lounging around Elysium watching porn? Sign me up. Who's left? Okay, that's where we're headed next, I guess. That one's locked. Come on. There we go. Yeah, nothing happening in there.
Keep that for later.
Okay. Next area.
Here we go. Another one of these.
Oh, gracious.
Find the right configuration.
Okay, left, up, left, down, right.
Done. I should check the door nearby.
Piece of cake. Now, do y'all have any, like, spare cells around? I could use one. For armor. Elsewhere. Okay. What's this thing? Code Nexus.
There's a part missing.
Huh.
Maybe there's a storage area nearby.
Okay.
Hey, I'm done with Brett's incompetence, okay? Somehow, he managed to install an H-emitter node backwards. Everything's in reverse. I don't get paid to clean up Brett's messes. If you want it fixed, send him up to storage for a new emitter, not me. Parker out.
Okay. Come on. So... is this working, or... well, let's try it, huh? It did work. So wait, what wasn't working? One of these wasn't working. Yeah, this whole side here. I guess I need another power cell to get in it, but... man, I need power cells for a lot of things. Bleh. Whatever. Not worrying about it. Moving on. I'm getting too many answers to stop. Anything? Nope. Okay. We climb. Anything? Anything up here? Something over there. What do we got? Not much. And over here...
Found one. Looks intact.
better than nothing. Okay. Let's see. Let's install that thing.
That should do the trick.
And then, okay.
Let's get that door open.
Down, left, up, right, down. Hopefully. And we go.
That did it. Door should have power.
Now to see what lies beyond it.
Didn't really see what door I just opened there. Oh, further away, huh? Oh, it's the main one up here. Wonderful. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Hello. Should have brought the dang gun.
Eclipse. They're here.
Avoid contact.
Lines look good.
Gaia. It's up there. Second floor.
Can you reach it?
So much for avoiding contact.
Oh man. Close the door behind me. Where all the guns are. Hooey. This isn't good. Hey. Ah, jeez. Run. All right, how many we got? Whoa, okay. I'm gonna go get her. Well, enjoy that. Thank you. And now, for my next trick. We're done. Wonderful. That is everyone. Well, I thought it was everybody. Who's left? They keep coming? Boo. See ya.
By the sun!
Okay, well, I need to get up there somehow. So I guess I'll just keep wiping these folks out until they stop coming down here. Sound good? I like the plan. It's real hard to see though. Rats. There we go. We'll have to get up there.
Structural failure prevents access.
Something there!
There's nothing here. Don't lie to people. Come on.
Got one right here.
Do you though?
That's the last of them.
Wonderful.
H1 structural failure. Repeat.
Or not.
I see something.
Man. Okay. Hey, could one of you bring a big gun down here? I'd appreciate that. Aw. You're so considerate. Thank you. See, now we can actually do something. This is more like it.
Farewell, fool.
Well, this is great. We're solving mysteries, learning the secrets of our world, and our enemies brought us our favorite gun.
Room's clear. For a moment, anyway.
Then get moving. You have to find Gaia.
So bossy. I'm going. Okay, how do we get up? Whew. All right.
Hello, I'm Margot Shen, and this is Hephaestus. As the name might tip you off, this is going to be the subordinate function that Gaia will use to make lots and lots of robots. Her personal forge. Except, it's not that simple. So you probably noticed that only about a third of you are robotics engineers. The rest, experts in machine cognition, virtual heuristics, that stuff. Well, that's because we aren't going to be the ones designing and building robots. The last thing we want is to burden Gaia with a bunch of outmoded 21st century designs. Waste of time. Our purpose is to empower Gaia to build the robots, and not just build, imagine, from scratch. Any robot she needs, for any conceivable purpose, designed and fabricated at a snap of a finger. Hers. Her finger. So, Hephaestus isn't really the forge. It's more like the knowledge of craft and ingenuity of a mastersmith to wield the hammer. Encoded as software. Virtual creativity made real. Gaia's already learning. In simulation, she's doing some very creative things with fractal assembly and animal morphologies. Her designs aren't about to win the Liam Prize anytime soon, but hey, everyone has to start somewhere. So, yes, time to get started. Let's do this.
I don't get it.
Which part? It's a little technical at places.
If Gaia was designed to save life, why would the robots it makes attack people?
Perhaps it loves some forms of life more than others.
The derangement. The machines weren't always so angry.
True. Mostly they were docile until 10, 15 years ago.
For years, Hephaestus has been forcing cauldrons to make aggressive machines. I've seen it myself, in the cauldrons. Stalkers, Ravagers, the Thunderjaw. How could it do that? And why?
Why indeed?
Okay, full steam ahead. From Elizabeth Sobek to Margot Shen. Margot, if I doubted your brilliance in the slightest, I wouldn't have picked you as the Hephaestus Alpha. You need to stop worrying about your age and communication style. You are who you are. Have confidence in yourself. You know what you're doing. Case in point, the latest draft of your plan for the construction and stocking of bootstrap silos to store raw materials is excellent. This, combined with your design for the AM Foundry Core and the Foundry site selection plan, add up to a comprehensive plan. It's time to start construction. One detail. Consult with Iomide Okilo before you finalize the silo inventories. Hephaestus' first task will be to fabricate the robots that will construct the waveform broadcast towers Minerva will use to transmit the deactivation codes. So any exotic materials needed for the towers should be accounted for in the inventory plan. Elizabeth. Okay. What all can we find? Simulation results from Margot Shen to Elizabeth Sobek. Wow, you weren't kidding about Gaia's predilection for animal morphologies. Sure, not totally unexpected given the rough natural terrain her bots will have to navigate, but I agree that there's something deeper going on here. Her designs aren't just functional, they feel almost like tributes is the word that comes to mind, as though she's already mourning their loss. And not just for the disappearing fauna of our time, but the creatures from the fossil record too. References to megafauna in some of her designs. So cool. Now, whatever Gaia thinks up, Hephaestus will empower her to build it. Just wish we could still be around in a century or two to see what she makes. This is super neat. The mystery that this game has to offer and the whole premise of the world we've been running around here is really cool. One of the cooler ones I've encountered in games, actually.
I've seen these shapes before. In cauldrons.
But of course, the birthing places of Gaia's machines.
Any other stuff in here? I don't want to miss it. Too much good. I'm gonna hit the button on this projector. I think it's the same one we just saw.
Hello, I'm Margot Shen, and this is Hephaestus. As the name might tip you off, this is going to be the subordinate function that Gaia will use to make lots and lots of robots. Her personal forge. Except, it's not that simple. So like, you probably noticed that only about a third of you are...
So... what do we got? Anything? No? Okay. Upward! I really would call it an episode normally, but I am not stopping this momentum. It's all too good. Alright.
think this is it. Elizabeth Sobek's office.
Yes.
But it's sealed off.
No.
There's got to be a way. More Eclipse.
Come on.
Careful now.
Eclipse, I've got stuff going on. I'm in the middle of something big. And you are rudely interrupting it. Suppose I have the opportunity to be sneaky here, and I should, but too darn impatient.
Apollo, the collective memory of the human species and the wellspring of knowledge for future generations. I am Samina Ebaji. Until recently, I was director of the International Collective Memory Institute in New Tehran. As a heritage professional, I devoted my career to the preservation of human knowledge, creative endeavor, and cultural achievement. Apollo is, therefore, the ultimate embodiment of a lifelong passion, albeit under the very worst circumstances imaginable. The challenges before us are immense. Specifically, we will have to design and implement 4 major initiatives simultaneously. First, the construction of data repositories in cradle facilities around the world ensuring redundancy. Second, the collection and processing of a projected 180 million discrete data entries. 42 zettabytes of data in Mandarin, English, Spanish, and Arabic. Third, the transferal and encoding of all that data onto DNA encapsulated in synthetic fossils. The only medium capacious and durable enough to safeguard it without degradation for the centuries to come. And last, but not least, the development of the holographic interface and gamified curricula, by which future humans will commune with Apollo, progressively unlocking heuristic learning modules, leveling up their knowledge and skills they will need to take control of the terraforming system. That is the future towards which all of our efforts will be directed. Not just the preservation of the past, but the seed for the flourishing of a new tree of knowledge. Welcome, and let us begin.
Interesting. So, encapsulated DNA from Samina Ebaji to Elizabeth Sobek. And the winner is encapsulated DNA. Over the past 10 days, I performed an exhaustive review of data storage solutions, magnetic, optical, quantum, even that eternity tech that FAS was shilling a year or so ago. But every other solution has one or more fatal shortcomings. Too heavy to transport, too massive to install in the allotted space, too power intensive over the centuries, too prone to failure past 300 to 400 years, etc. Encapsulated DNA will easily hold the 40 plus zettabytes we're projecting for Apollo. There are still many details to finalize, of course. To start with, we need to select the inert material in which we'll embed the molecules, already testing 16 candidate materials, as well as design and fabricate the power systems and sealed reliquaries that will keep the DNA at minus 18 degrees Celsius for 1,000 plus years. So long as I assure you that it didn't factor into my decision, may I confess that I deem it entirely fitting, indeed, propitious, this is not a word I know, propitious, that we will be using the very building blocks of life to preserve human knowledge from mechanized extinction. It's not just ironic, but heroic. Life as the hero beating back the forces of oblivion. In any case, much to do. Until next time, peace be with you. All right, let me clean up some trash out here, and then... Oh, wait. First... No, come on. There we go. Apollo update from Samina to Elizabeth. Over the past 2 months, the full benefit of our procurement of a copy of the Homer archive from Far Zenith has made itself known, and as a result, all of Apollo's key deliverables are on schedule. Apollo has already surpassed 40 million discrete data entries and continues to grow. The physical science modules are effectively complete, with soft science modules close behind. World history, cultural data, and media archives are also on schedule. Language preservation is wrapping up a bit ahead of schedule due to falling short of our goal to preserve 4,500 languages. I suppose the tragic early loss of Papua New Guinea doomed that goal from the outside, with attendant curricula development about to begin. Speaking of the heuristic curricula, they're performing well in testing, with children and adolescents demonstrating high levels of engagement with and trust in the Aristotle and Aspasia persona. And personally, I find them highly engaging, especially when they debate. I wish half my professors had been so entertaining. Peace be with you. It's all so neat. It's so thought out, too. There's some fun sci-fi. So, okay. Let me tidy up. Starting with you. Then you.
Oh no!
No, come on. That didn't work out at all. You're done also. Great.
Fight!
Well. Guess it's that time. Hey, give me your gun. Thank you. This should sort out the rest. Hey, guy.
That's the last of them.
Wonderful.
Alone once more.
Hooray.
In what should have been a cave of wonders. Look around. See if anything is left.
I will. I bet there's some more good little data things around. Now that I can actually pay attention to them. Let's see. Let's find some good stuff. Looking pretty barren down here. The good info must be upstairs. Yeah, let's check up there. Here we go.
Dr. Sobek, please archive this testimonial in Apollo. Cross-reference to all mentions of my name and Operation Enduring Victory. My name is General Aaron Harris. From 2060 to 2066, I served as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranked officer of the United States Armed Forces. The tenure of my command included strategic planning and oversight of Operation Enduring Victory, a falsehood perpetrated on the civilian populations of the United States and other nations during the last 14 months of life on this planet. Before the Pharaoh Plague, I did my job and did it well. I was bold and decisive, crafty in political maneuvers. It wasn't an accident that I rose to my position and became the commander of the largest mechanized force ever assembled. But to what end? My only lasting achievement was the extinction of life on Earth. And my one redeeming act, if any, was to delay that extinction by days or weeks, by throwing more death at it. It is my hope that there will be no need for men like me in the world to come. If you are one of the people of that future world listening to this message, please know that I am sorry and that I wish you well. Sincerely, Aaron Harris.
All right, we're going this way, I think. Just gotta figure out how to get over there. Come on, there we go. Here we go.
Welcome
Where?
to Hades. Zero Dawn's Extinction Failsafe Protocol. The ultimate killer app. Now, I know what you're thinking. The purpose of Gaia is to resurrect life. So why give her a subordinate function, only purpose of which is to wipe out life all over again? I mean, what? Just plumb crazy, ain't it? Well, no, it isn't. Reconstituting a biosphere? That's a tall order. Tech smart as Gaia may be, odds are she won't get it right the first time. I mean, imagine your Gaia 200 years from now and this new biosphere growing, it's all gone wrong. Alkalines are skyrocketing, coniferous forests eroding under the lash of superstorms that would have drowned Noah. It's chaos. Spinning top that won't stop wobbling. Now what are you gonna do? Release phase 1 organisms into that hot mess? Hope their CO2 and methane can balance out what you got started? Hell no. What you're gonna do, Gaia, is step aside while Hades takes over and does what you're just too darn nurturing and life-loving to do, which is burn that misbegotten mess of a biosphere to the ground so Gaia can start over. Okay, not burn, more like reverse terraforming operations and suffocate it. But you get the idea. Hades takes the biosphere back to zero. Square one, blank slate. And then, only then, does it hand the steering wheel back to Gaia and say, try again, old girl. And better this time, or we'll have to do this again. That's Hades. It's pretty badass when you think about it. Extinction on demand. Death on speed dial. All for the greater good, of course, but still, kind of metal. So welcome to Hades. Welcome to the void.
Okay, so if that's the original purpose of Hades, why does it want me extinct?
We need more data.
I agree.
How does it end up in the wreckage of a Pharaoh Titan, getting worshipped by the Eclipse like some kind of god?
I'm learning as you are, Aloy. Keep searching.
All right. Noise complaints. From Travis Tate to Elizabeth Sobek. Color me confounded, Lizzie. Bashcore? Anyone who says the old TT codes to Bashcore is straight up lying, and you know it. Old Trav don't have no truck with commercialized razzle-dazz, nuh-uh. Heck, I'd rather guzzle a liter of Cetarium runoff than listen to Grey Swarm for 30 seconds. Hand to God and swear on my mama's grave, and she was religious. Nah, that ain't Bashcore blasting the Hades lab, shaking the walls, rattling folks' teeth. It's death metal, girl. Classical music, 80s and 90s mostly. Got me some Dutch deathcore, some Japanese gore grind, some Swedish cannibal-themed stuff too. Stop by if you want to listen, or heck, just come within 50 meters of the lab. Ain't no Bashcore you'll see, or hear, rather, in the scratch that rends the air, and feel in the throbbing pulse of the floor and walls and ceiling swallowing you up like was Jonah trapped in the gullet of gothic deathfish. Hallelujah. As for those requests to turn it down, no can do, Lizzie. This is how I code. Turn down my death metal, might as well give up stimulants, chocolate malts, and industrial accident vids. Last I heard, we were supposed to be coding Hades down here. Am I really supposed to code an extinction protocol without death metal to inspire me? Nah, Ma. I don't think so. Stay cool, Trav. It seems like an insufferable individual in general. Yep. Okay, Hades protocol. Tate here, just popped 3 blues, but I earned it. Finally figured out a Goldilocks solution to Gaia's rather extreme executive authority. If that ain't worth 10 to 12 hours of dream time, what is? Before this, every usurpation protocol I designed failed in simulation because it was either too hard or too soft. Too hard and it degraded the Gaia core. Sure, it pried her figurative fingers off the figurative driving wheel so Hades could take control, but by breaking her fingers. Sometimes her arms too, so that couldn't fly. Everything depends on Gaia taking control back after Hades has done its business, so had to find a solution that didn't leave Gaia any worse for the wear. Too soft, and Gaia only pretended to relinquish control. In simulation after simulation, Hades would take command of the terraforming system and reverse operations, only to have Gaia lurk in the background, quietly re-reversing processes and falsifying telemetry to hide its interference. Sneaky. I swear, ain't nothing Gaia wouldn't do to keep life going, even when it's just simulated plant life. Turns out the just right solution is to isolate Gaia in a protective code shell, preserving its integrity, and then unseat it from command position so Hades can slip into the figurative captain's chair and work its magic. Those blues are coming on strong now, so I'm not really describing it so clear, but pretty sure it'll work. Yeah, those blues are pretty strong. Guess it's time to sleep in bed. I'll back to it tomorrow. Alligators. All right, then. Archive abuse, from Samina to Travis Tate. CCing Elizabeth. Mr. Tate, this mail concerns Apollo archive submission numbers, your 666th submission in just 5 days, and oh, what a doozy. Despite earlier warnings regarding inappropriate materials, you chose to submit 265 holographic remasters of acknowledged classics of extreme exploitation cinema. Allow me then to thank you on 2 counts. 1, for giving me the pleasure of rejecting your submission, thereby consigning your favorite Eastern European torture flicks and their ilk to the dust heap of oblivion. Truly, it warms my heart to know I have saved future humanity from the ordeal of experiencing not just one, but all 16 installments of making a millipede. Don't worry, the Pasolini material has already been preserved. Extreme, perhaps, but art. 2, for clarifying a concept that has so long been ambiguous and ethically fraught for archivists such as myself, the definition of obscenity. You have freed me from the subjective quagmire embodied in Judge Potter's famous utterance, "I know it when I see it." Thanks to you, I can now apply a single objective criterion. If Travis Tate submitted it, it is obscene. Accordingly, I have directed Apollo staff to summarily reject all of your future submissions, sight unseen. Perhaps you might invest the time you would have spent preparing further submissions on, I don't know, your assigned work? We have a world to save, after all. Or the rest of us do, anyway. Something about my current predicament is all his fault, isn't it? I guess it would have to be. It's Hades.
Looks like the only way onwards.
What's gonna be down here? I wanna know. Don't let it be more Eclipse. FZ chambers. I hope y'all are game for just reading and voice clips for a very long time today, because that's what this has been. From Patrick Brocard Klein to Elizabeth Sobek. The ectogenic chambers arrived 2 days ago. I spent the last 36 hours examining them and poring over technical documentation. They're a revelation. Astonishing. I don't know what you have to give Far Zenith in trade to get those chambers, but it was worth it. In a single leap, their embryologists have vaulted past 50 years of technological shortcomings. The risks of ECMO are resolved. Nutrition delivery resolved. Hormonal stability resolved. 12 other risk areas resolved. Before I examine these chambers, I consider the Odyssey to be a fool's errand, but if the rest of FC's technology is at this level, well, a human colony around Sirius doesn't seem so impossible after all. Mass fabrication of the chambers will present a number of challenges, but I'm confident they can be resolved. I'm going to rest for a few hours and get back to it. Expect a fabrication plan within 48 hours.
Welcome to Eleuthia, the crown and king of Gaia's subordinate functions. For it is by Eleuthia that the human race will continue to exist. I am Patrick Brochard-Klein, the Alpha in charge of this program. Now let one thing be perfectly clear from the outset. Eleuthia is not a genetic engineering project. Our goal is to preserve the human genome, not alter it. A snapshot of human genetic diversity, literally frozen in time. The genetic quintessence of our species, unmodified. Under my watch, our activities and initiatives will comply with the 2034 clone provisions and the 2048 Rally Accords. Now that may seem a quaint, even trivial concern to you in light of present circumstances, but as one of the authors of the Accords, it is far from trivial to me. The practical challenges before us are staggering in scope and complexity, but not insurmountable. No. Global collation and provisional storage of zygotes, perfection of exogenic technologies, design and perfection of servitors to provide nurture and inculcation during early child development. All of these program components must and will proceed in tandem. To say nothing of the breakneck construction of cradle facilities at sites around the world. So, si vous êtes prêts, let us begin.
So much interesting stuff. So close together. It's great.
Are these what I think they are?
Artificial wombs. Machines to spawn a new generation of human beings.
Cradle Servitor Personae. From Patrick and Brochard Klein to Elizabeth Sobek. Development of the artificial personae for Cradle servitors, nurturer, disciplinarian, healer, continues at a good pace. We are targeting Turing Point 4 for these constructs. This should allow low-grade empathy and limited improvisation without undermining adherence to codified behavior sets. The stimulus-driven switching of personae, however, is proving to be a greater software challenge than anticipated, especially concerning our entrenched feedback loops between the disciplinarian and healer personae. I've also attached the reports from an incident where a servitor running the mother personae intervened on a disciplinarian servitor's behavior. A parental argument, if you will. Amusing, on first glance perhaps, but deeply concerning. I've attached a comprehensive plan for correcting these interactive protocol shortcomings in just... blah, blah, blah. Saw another one down here. It's lasting long enough that I'm fearing I'm going to have to wrap this up. We're going to have to come back to it next week. We've just been going a long while. And it is extremely late over here. Cradle sealed. From Patrick to Elizabeth. Eleuthia 01 was successfully sealed before the swarm advancing across Xinjiang province could detect it. Ping back from crucial systems is good. For our maiden voyage, a success. Regards my disputes with the betas over zygote selection. Of course, I understand we have limited overhead to run simulations of gene flow in our future humans, but we can all agree there is margin for refinement in future cradle populations. Donc, in addition to personally overseeing completion of the Eleuthia 2 site inside Mount Namuli, I will formulate and propose a modified zygote selection plan within the week. It's all so neat.
Cradle facilities. Elizabeth said a new generation of humans would be spawned inside such places.
She did.
All Mother Mountain. It was one of them?
There's only one way to be sure.
The hatch wouldn't open. Something about a corrupted Alpha registry. I need to search Elizabeth's office.
That does sound like a good thing to do. I do fear we are going to have to do that next time, though. I need to go to sleep and cut this off so that I actually have time to finish editing it. Anyway, y'all, we're going to wrap this up next time. So if we're like right at the end here and I don't realize it, sorry about that. So it goes with first-time playthroughs. Anyway, y'all, I will see you next week, and we're going to continue this. This has been very fun and cool. I'm enjoying this story immensely, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. I hope you will join me for that on Monday. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.